goals for the Mavericks. As we mentioned, the top, Rodney McCray, has swelling in the left knee. He is not in uniform tonight, so Doug Smith moves back into the starting lineup. Herb Williams remains in the middle. The Bulls have won 7 straight games in this series, including the first meeting this season back in the first week of the season at the Chicago Stadium, 108-92. Mavericks control the tip. Derek Harper working against John Paxson out front, puts the body on him from the foul line.
Excellent start for Derek Harper, who has struggled with his shooting of late. He feels he can take John Paxson at any time.
Scottie Pippen on a wing against Smith. Cartwright inside, ties the game.
Herb Williams tried for the steal going around. Tough to play consistent defense when you do that. And it failed that time.
Blackman got his screen to get away from Michael Jordan. Here's Doug Smith up top. And Doug Smith, who had his season high tying 32 minutes the other night against San Antonio, gets the scoring started this evening. Here's Pippen. And they're going to call Doug Smith for putting the body on him.
Great quickness by Scottie Pippen. Flashed off the weak side high post or pinch post, if you will. Doug Smith put 2 hands on him. That's an automatic call, no matter how much you impede their progress.
Horace Grant out front. Here's Jordan. Michael has been in a slight shooting slump of late, only 43% over the last 3 games, shooting 52% for the season.
Chicago Bulls lead the NBA in field goal percentage as a team.
Here's Blackman. And Scottie Pippen has the rebound. The Bulls are also tied for 3rd in the NBA in board work. And Pippen with the turnover as he traveled. The officials tonight are Jim Capers, Mike Mathis, and Tommy Nunez. As Phil Jackson with a 74% winning percentage halfway through his 3rd year at the helm of the Chicago Bulls, 46 years of age, native of Woodstock, New York. Mavericks very deliberate up the floor. I give it over to Doug Smith again, and Scottie Pippen, 15th in the NBA in steals, came away with that one, but what's the call? That he was standing out of bounds, so the Mavericks will get it back with 12 seconds on the shot clock.
Miss Terry Davis finally got the ball to him. Good ball move with Mavericks.
Back to Herb Williams. Got the wide open jumper, and the Mavericks are on early. We mentioned Dallas is going to have to score more points than they have of late if they're going to have realistic chance for the upset tonight. And so far, Dallas shooting well. Here's Horace Grant.
The Bulls have not been playing well in Texas. Bill Cartwright gets his 2nd hoop, and they'll call a foul on Terry Davis underneath the basket, throwing Scottie Pippen out of the way.
Count the basket. Hits Terry Davis with the Mavericks' 2nd foul. Yeah, Cartwright had a nice game last night in the loss in Houston. 15 points and 9 boards on 6 of 10 shooting.
Interesting call by the referee. We got a great officiating crew tonight. Jim Capers, Mike Mathis, and Tommy Nunez.
Now they can't. Well, they're going to give Pippen the free throw.
They called Terry Davis for pushing Scottie Pippen out of the way.
That's right. It was Cartwright that scored the basket, so
you could call that play every time, Alan.
Yep.
These little lightweights like Scottie Pippen coming in here at 6'7", about 225.
Long pass up the floor to Doug Smith. Cartwright got a hand on the pass.
Doug Smith just looks so much more at ease out there. Bill Blackman cans the jumper.
Blackman's been struggling of late, too. Only 37% from the field the last 3 games. Here's Grant, 2nd in the NBA in field goal percentage, but that one rolls off, and Herb Williams has the rebound. 1st in the NBA in field goal percentage is Buck Williams for the Portland Trailblazers. He doesn't shoot very much. He mostly just dunks. So at 60%, that means he misses 4 out of every 10 dunks he takes. Herb Williams misses. Here's Pippen up the floor. Paxson, the great spot-up jump shooter. But not this time, and Terry Davis has it. I think Phil Jackson's got to be a little concerned. This is the 3rd game in a row, all of them in Texas, that the Bulls have come out with a slow start. Harper. And Derek Harper looks to be on fire. and Rolando both into it offensively early, and the Mavericks have a 3-point advantage 3 minutes into the first quarter.
The team looks to be very focused tonight, probably as a result of the skirmishes on the practice court earlier this week.
Well, they ought to be focused tonight because they certainly haven't been focused the rest of this week. What a bunch of distractions with all the fighting and everything. Here's a loose ball foul going against the Bulls. It's on Bill Cartwright. James Donaldson suspended for Wednesday night's game against the Spurs after getting into fisticuffs with Roll Blackman. Back in uniform tonight after day-long team meetings yesterday, which according to the players and coaches really solved nothing. And Derek Harper with his third hoop already, and the Mavericks open up a 5-point advantage. Jordan up the floor.
Great pass.
Yep, it was that. And Cartwright has 3 buckets. Michael averages 6 assists a game along with 6 rebounds.
Jordan has always been a tremendous passer. He's certainly passing a lot more. What kind of great defensive double team is that when you got Pippen and Jordan double teaming the ball?
Terry Davis drifting outside, and the Mavericks, who are tied for dead last in the league in field goal percentage, are knocking them down early. Dallas is 7 of 9 from the field. Horace Grant.
Real post action with the split.
Paxson snuck in for the offensive board. Pippen for 3. And Herb Williams has this rebound. Harper cheats out. Feeds Terry Davis. Well, they don't blow him now. Lee Jones or Jim Capers had a little while to think about it and finally decided that Terry Davis had traveled.
Jordan is going to slide around 3 defensive Mavericks. Bill Cartwright wide open underneath the basket. When you play with a great player, just keep moving because he'll find a way to get you the ball, and something always good happens.
You can see on that replay there was a 4th defender coming, so somebody surely had to be open with 4 guys on Jordan. Here's Cartwright. He's turning back the clock tonight. Bill Cartwright, 35 years of age, has 8 points already in the period. And the Bulls are back to within 3.
Turning back the clock, you make him sound old. 35 sounds pretty young to me, Alan.
Well, he's even younger than that. He's 34. He doesn't turn 35 till July. Herb Williams with the jump hook in the lane. The Mavericks back up by 5.
Fine post-up offense for Herb Williams. The Chicago Bulls will go to Bill Cartwright a lot at the start of the game, try to get him involved. As the game wears on, though, it's become, watch this out for this play. Here's Doug Smith gets beat badly by Scottie Pippen.
And Doug Smith commits his 2nd foul. 3rd foul against the Mavericks. Smith not happy about the call. Timeout with 6:51 to go in the first. The Mavericks on top early by 5. First 11 shots from the field of the smiling Tom Landry. Looks on.
He said,
everybody's here tonight.
I might want to coach in this league. He'd be a great coach at whatever sport he decided. He's a wonderful teacher.
He is that. Scottie Pippen up top. It's his first basket.
The Mavericks have had to bring in Randy White, promising young forward, because Doug Smith now has 2 fouls. He'll have lots of opportunity to play tonight with Rodney McRae out.
Yeah, Randy White coming off a season-high 20 points, season-best 12 rebounds in the Mavericks game against the Spurs Wednesday. Here's Randy White. Michael Jordan got there late, and I believe it's Michael that's called for the foul.
Foul by Michael Jordan.
Randy White is often criticized for casting off from long range. Passed up the open shot, just drove right by a stationary Bill Cartwright.
Randy White, 2 shots.
Interesting phraseology I heard for these big immobile centers.
Yes.
Ambulatory furniture warehouses.
Ambulatory, okay.
I wouldn't quite call Bill that, but there are a few other big guys in this league that fit that description very well.
So Randy White makes them both. He has been productive of late. The last 4 games, he's played a total of 57 minutes and produced 48 points. And again, the Mavericks have the 5-point advantage. Boy, the game gets so much easier when you make your shot from the field. And that's what the Mavericks are doing early. Horace Grant from the foul line. Grant's first points.
And you often win when you score more points than the other team.
5:50 to go in the first. Blackman. Horace Grant switches over to him defensively. Here's Randy White up top. Wild shot, but Terry Davis in for the basket, and Jordan gets hit with a 2nd foul.
Yeah, that's the kind of long-range bomb that gets Randy White in a lot of trouble with Coach Richie Adebato. Jordan with 2 fouls.
My fault. It was Horace Grant.
Davis, 1 shot.
Grant from up top got called for the reach. He and Jordan were both swiping at it.
How can they call that foul on Horace Grant? He was 5 feet away. They want to keep Michael Jordan in this ball game.
I was going to say, they know the fans want to see Michael. They don't want to get him out of the game early.
So do I. What do you think about having a no foul out rule in the NBA? Oh, nice poke by Derek Harper.
Well, I think I might be for that. It's the only sport where you're disqualified. And I think it does rob the fans from players they want to see in situations. Oh, great play. Boy, that's showtime right there. Scottie Pippen gets to 5. And again, the Maverick lead is down to 3. That was pretty.
Nice inbound play there. Inbound it. Just slash off the center. You're always open after you inbound the ball.
Scottie Pippen has just really come on to be a great player in this league. 15th in the league in scoring at 21 a game. And here's Pippen, 15th in the league in steals, and he takes this one away from Randy White, who then commits the foul.
Randy White loses Scottie Pippen, who just rubs off Bill Cartwright. Nice give and go there with Jordan. Pippen, probably the second best finisher at the basket in the NBA behind his teammate Jordan.
The Bulls continue to look for Bill Cartwright. Right here, Terry Davis banging him pretty good. Cartwright. Oh, nice move. Missed the shot, missed the tip. Grant inside. He misses. And finally, the Mavericks chase it down. So Dallas dodges several point-blank attempts. Harper. And Jordan flies in for this rebound. Under 4.5 minutes to go. Here's Jordan. Oh, yeah! There's the mustard shot by Michael.
Jumping off the wrong foot. Didn't look. I thought he was going to pass it at the last moment, but there was no one there to pass to. He had to throw it up, and it banks in. They'll show that one for years to come.
And you can hear the buzz. The great one has got him going already with that play. Herb Williams. Bulls with a chance for their first lead of the night. Paxson up the floor. Pippen. To Grant. Chicago 21. The Mavericks 20. Richie Adubato wants to stop play. Again, this will be the Mavericks' second timeout of the period. It's going to be a 20-second timeout. Nice run here by Chicago, and obviously we got to show you Michael's play again.
Jordan on the penetration, jumps off his right foot, turns his back, looked for John Paxson, said, John, you're out of the action. I'm shooting this ball here. He says, yeah, I worked on that one all day today.
You know what Michael did work on all day today? His golf game. Practiced this morning here at Reunion Arena. Went out to play the TPC course at Las Colinas. Shot a ordinary 76. Got his scorecard signed by the pro out there, so it's legitimate that it was the 76. Shows up here tonight and has already gotten them going at Reunion Arena. It's a 6-point run by the Bulls.
That's after playing 40-plus minutes last night, flying here after the game on their charter plane, having to shoot around this morning for an hour and a half, and getting out to the golf course. He'll play more than 40 minutes as well tonight. I'd say he's in shape.
Yes. And handles all the distractions of being Michael Jordan on the road on top of all the things we've just told you about. Here's Randy White. Short. Michael Jordan's got the rebound. Jordan with the jumper. Nope. White inside has the board.
Randy White continues to throw up the long-range 20-footers.
And Richie Adubato continues to be frustrated with him on the sidelines.
He's got so much athletic talent. He could get down low and just pound it in on guys.
Roll Blackman with Michael Jordan right in his face. Second hoop of the game for Orlando, who's been over 25 of the last 7 games.
I'd save the long shots for guys like Roe Blackman and Derek Harper.
Yep.
Do what you do best.
Pippen to Jordan.
That's what he does best.
Yeah, Michael's got 6, shooting 52% from the field. Bulls steal it, and Pippen converts.
Careless inbounding by the Mavericks, creating easy opportunities for opportunistic players like Scottie Pippen and Jordan, who will always be up in the passing lane. Imagine if they had a big shot-blocking center behind them, how much more aggressive they could be defensively.
Blackman. Tough drive. Roll Blackman. got 6, matching Derek Harper for high honors on the Mavericks side.
That's good defense by Derek Harper and a good reaction by Ro Blackman, who picks him up after Jordan got by him.
Harper to Herb Williams. Scottie Pippen reaches in but gets called for the foul. Boy, Pippen is active early, going for the steals. Chicago will stop play for the first time tonight. Phil Jackson wants to talk it over with 1:50 to go in the first. And the Bulls up by a point. Big night last evening for Larry Nance with a season-high 33 as the Cavaliers continue to play outstanding ball. And you know, Bill, Cleveland's won 69% of their games. Any other year, that would put them at least at very close to the top in the Eastern Conference. But the way Chicago is playing, they're still 7 games off the pace.
The graphic indicated that the Cavaliers have won 4 of their last 5. The game they lost was down in Orlando last week, the night after Orlando hammered the Mavericks. And Cleveland, of course, still playing without injured all-star center Brad Daugherty. Inside points, 12 for Chicago, just 4 for Dallas. Post up Herb Williams, get some of those back.
Blackman working against Horace Grant. Boy, Ro Blackman has 8 now for the Dallas Mavericks, who regain the lead at 26-25.
Blackman and Derek Harper playing some of their best basketball of the season.
Well, a really good sign. Ro and Derek are combined 7 of 9 early. B.J. Armstrong's on for Paxson. Shuffles it off to Horace Grant. Shot clock goes under 5 for Armstrong out of Iowa State.
I was about to say something about his improved outside shooting has really helped his chances in developing into a quality NBA player as he throws up a very ugly-looking brick. But it's his first shot of the game.
Armstrong has shot well. 14 of 26 over the last 3 games. Herb Williams, nope. Blackman, nope. And Jordan takes it off the front of the rim. Ahead to Pippen. Final 40 seconds of the first quarter with the Mavericks up by a point. Cartwright gets it back. In and out. And a loose ball foul against the Bulls. That'll give Dallas free throws.
Loose ball foul on Horace Grant.
That's a second foul on Horace Grant and the 5th on the Chicago Bulls.
Well, Horace is getting the short end of some of these calls. That foul should have been called on Scottie Pippen, I believe, from the angle I sit. But when you got Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan on your team, every call is going to go against the next guy down the ladder as long as he's anywhere near the vicinity of the foul.
Randy White, 3 of 3 from the line. Michael sits down for the first time tonight, replaced by 9-year veteran Bob Hansen out of Iowa.
Stacey King.
And Stacey King, the former Oklahoma All-American, is on for Horace Grant.
Hansen, of course, played for the very successful coach Lute Olson, now at Arizona.
So Randy continues perfect from the foul line. The Mavericks with a 3-point lead. Backcourt pressure disrupting Scottie Pippen momentarily. Pippen will now move to a point forward spot in this alignment. About a 4-second difference between the game and the shot clock for the Bulls. Pippen with big steps with the left hand. And a 9-point first period for Scottie Pippen. And again, it's a 1-point game. Mavericks should be able to get off the last shot. Harper. Blackman. Lifted out at the buzzer.
After 1, the Mavericks 28.
And at the end of the first 12 minutes tonight, KTVT very pleased to be bringing you a Dallas Mavericks home game from Reunion. The Mavericks lead it by 1. Alan Stone and Bill Walton back with you tonight on KTVT, where the Mavericks shooting the ball good early. Also leading on the glass, Scottie Pippen and Ro Blackman, the big scorers.
This is a team, the Dallas Mavericks, that's only shooting 44% on the season, doing very well. Bill Cartwright with the handoff. Herb Williams has to step out and not let Scottie Pippen continue his forward progress there. Even though Scottie Pippen makes a great left-handed shot, the defender really needs to change the direction of the offensive slasher off the dribble handoff there.
Mavericks get Mike Isolino into the game to start the second quarter for Derek Harper. Doug Smith returns as well for the Mavericks. Pippen stays on. Scott Williams is in for the first time tonight, handling the ball right there for Bill Cartwright. Pippen working hard, got the foul from Randy White. That's 2 on Randy, and Pippen, just such a tough assignment. And what a consistent player, Bill. He has been in double figures 43 of 44 games this year.
That's arguably traveling there. Very difficult to guard.
I told you he was hard to guard.
Well, when they let you take steps, that's a great move by Scottie Pippen. But Randy White has got to keep his feet, got to keep contact with one hand on his hip. Doug Smith and Randy White now both with 2 fouls. Rodney McRae will not play tonight. That puts a lot of pressure on the 2 young forwards, the kind of pressure they need.
Pippen 15th in scoring, 14th in the league in assists, 15th in the NBA in steals. He becomes the first player tonight to get to double figures scoring wise as Dallas throws it away on the inbounds pass. Mavericks 4th in the NBA in fewest turns.
You see more and more guys failing to be able to get the ball inbound. Run that baseline when you have the opportunity, as you do on a made basket.
B.J. Armstrong whips Isolino out front, but then can't convert. Randy White has yet another board. Dallas continues to have the advantage on the glass by 3, though they have turned it over 4 times, only once for the Bulls. Blackman over Hansen. Long rebound taken by Doug Smith. The Mavericks will reset. Blackman working hard, finds Terry Davis, but a great recovery and rejection by Scottie Pippen. Hansen up the floor. Finds Pippen. Those big hands, gets it back. Padding his stats everywhere. Rebounding, block shots.
Nice one-handed sweeping hook shot. Didn't go, but it looked pretty.
Stacey King drives to the basket. The 3rd-year pro, former All-American, just up the road in Norman at Oklahoma. And the Bulls take the lead back. Playing right here without Michael Jordan.
Stacey King obviously having his best year. He was a big disappointment. Very high draft pick, 6th overall, I believe. Now just coming into his own. Come and get the ball, somebody.
Smith just flings it with a shot clock, winding down, nearly made the 3. Here's a loose ball foul.
Loose ball foul, Stacey King.
Well, the activity of Terry Davis, Randy White inside.
Tracy Moore into the ball game.
Giving you some real help there as Stacey King gets called for the foul. 5 boards now for Randy White. As Tracy Moore is on for Roe Blackman. Randy White working baseline against Stacey King. Missed it, but there's Terry Davis.
Terry Davis is down and he's hurt.
And Davis has gone down. The Mavericks a man short here. King inside is fouled as Isolino goes down at the other end. And Terry Davis in real pain as he fell hard after getting the putback on the offensive rebound. And a timeout is going to be called.
Terry Davis, one of the toughest guys. The jump hook by White. The stick back attempt. He's going to come down and land right on that right arm, right shoulder. He looks hurt.
There wasn't any contact. Well, let's take a break with 9:53 to go. Mavericks and the Bulls are tied at 30. Terry Davis is up. And I expect great things out of Bill Walton, who's been covering the LA Clippers this entire season. I know we're going to get some tremendous insights on the play of Mike Schuler's ball club.
Clippers have been struggling of late. Had a lot of injuries. Doc Rivers out with the hamstring, but Harper's coming along, and Danny Manning's really taken his game to new heights for the LA Clippers.
Stacey King, who's been in double figures 22 times this season, averaging 9 points in 20 minutes.
Here's the Chicago press. Doug Smith really has to get more comfortable at inbounding that ball. He may want to take a run at it.
Here's Doug Smith. Banging off Scott Williams. They'll count it with the foul on Williams, the 2nd-year pro out of North Carolina. And Doug Smith with a chance for the 3-point play. It's a tough assignment for an inexperienced NBA backcourt of Mike Isolino and Tracy Moore, Bill, to have to...
That's one of the reasons why they're pressing is Doug Smith flashes up like you're supposed to in the middle of the press, get the ball turned. There was nobody there. He just went straight to the hoop and banked in the runner. That's a shot you practice all your life and rarely get to use.
So Doug Smith up to 5 now, and the Mavericks reclaim the advantage. It continues to be a nip and tuck first half. Smith overplaying, steals the pass meant for Stacey King.
Doug Smith hurt his left hand on that steal. Nice pass to Isolino.
Finds Terry Davis in traffic, and Davis dunks it home. He's got 8.
I have not seen all the Maverick games this year, but that was the best individual play that I've seen Mike Isolino make.
Yes. Well, that's got to be his forte at this level, passing the basketball, distributing it. There's Williams. And Scott Williams gets on the board. He's played in 28 now, the first 45 games by Chicago this season.
He's finally gotten his health back after he had that shoulder problem surgically repaired.
Smith comes up short. Williams has the rebound. B.J. Armstrong. Pippen, who's gone the distance tonight. Hansen. Scott Williams steps out of bounds with it. Bad turnover there by Chicago, which is just ahead of the Mavericks in the turnover picture.
Isolino comes off the high screen. They double team him and leave a wide open lane for Terry Davis, who slams it home. Good to see Terry Davis back in the lineup after that very severe fall that looked like it had caused major injury.
All right, able to walk into the huddle during the timeout and stays on. Terry Davis working down low. Tracy Moore lost it. Isolino goes to the floor to save it for Doug Smith. Randy White flies in for the offensive board. He misses. Here's Pippen. And now Randy White is down and in some discomfort. B.J. Armstrong from the corner. His first points of the game. Bulls lead it by a point. Randy White telling Richie Adubato he's okay. He'll stay in.
He's not taking himself out of this game.
You can't blame him for that. Moore.
Tracy Moore.
They're going to say he's tied up.
Team. They tie him up.
Mavericks are 4th in the NBA in fewest turnovers. The Bulls are 3rd as Randy White now is taken out of the game as Herb Williams returns.
And a good shot of Fat Lever there, who will have surgery soon on that knee and will not play again this season.
Yeah, what a tough part of his career for Fat Lever in 2 years with the Mavericks. He will have played in only a total of 35 games.
He's a player who's been an Iron Man in his entire NBA career. Very unfortunate.
Armstrong.
Hopefully the surgery, though, to Fat Lever will take care of the problem once and for all, and he'll return to the productive player he was.
Pippen inside, missed it, going strong to the hoop. Here's Isolino. And they're going to call a foul on Pippen, trying to deny Herb Williams a pass. That's the second foul on Scottie Pippen and the third on the Bulls this quarter. Horace Grant returns and Cliff Levingston in for the first time tonight. Scottie Williams sits down, as does Scottie Pippen, and Michael will come back.
The propensity of teams to double team in the low post in the NBA has really turned most of the players in the NBA into poor defensive players on an individual basis. Now when they're isolated against a man, they'll often try to go around and make a steal. That's bad fundamental defense. As Horace Grant is going to get called for a foul on Terry Davis in the post-up.
Well, that's a big call because the third foul of the half on Horace Grant. And Grant disbelieving. Michael Jordan was lobbying the official. He thought it was going to go against TD, but it goes against Grant, and he's not got a problem.
Referees give so much of an advantage to the offensive player, particularly guys who are trying to post up and push their way back to the basket. That time, Terry Davis.
Isolino misses. Terry Davis had position. But they'll say the ball was knocked out by Chicago. Will Perdue makes his debut of the night. I was thinking if Scottie Pippen went out of the game, that I'm sure it's part of Phil Jackson's strategy to never have both Pippen and Jordan out of the game at the same time, as long as the result is in doubt, as the boos are for Maverick center James Donaldson, who comes in for the first time this evening.
Very controversial events all week long. Donaldson suspended, of course.
Donaldson is on for Terry Davis. Roe Blackman returns for Tracy Moore.
The team is doing their best to put the events of the week behind them. That's often difficult to do. It's been a frustrating season for a lot of the Mavericks.
Yes, it has.
As the losses pile up.
Been a frustrating season for James Donaldson. Lost his starting job, demanded to be traded, got suspended after fisticuffs in practice this week. Isolino can't finish. Purdue has the rebound. Armstrong up the floor, all the way. Finger roll, nope. Herb Williams ahead to Isolino. Blackman for three. Roll Blackman, Kansas 24th three-pointer of the season. He's now the leading scorer in the game with 11, and the Mavericks up by 2.
Good transition offense. Something that the Mavericks have not used much this season, but watch out, they got Jordan isolated on the wing. Good double team by Isolino.
And Armstrong up top. He is an improved shooter from the field, 49% now. His second hoop where he ties the game. And not much to choose from yet.
It's always good strategy to double team Michael Jordan. Anytime you can get him to pass the ball, no matter where he is.
You could be a coach with that strategy.
That's what we did with the Boston Celtics. We won a lot of those games.
Donaldson in close against Purdue. Missed it. Jordan up the floor, working against Blackman. Jordan reclaims the advantage for the Bulls. Michaels now got 8. 6th in the NBA in steals, 1st in scoring.
Jordan, Pippen, Rolando Blackman, these are players that have unique and tremendous ability to come to a stop and go straight into the air. So difficult to guard. If Donaldson can't finish at the basket, they'll call a foul on Stacey King.
Doug Smith did a nice job of penetrating, dropped it off to James, who will shoot free throws. Mavericks offense has stalled out here. Dallas is only 4 out of 15 in the quarter. Michael Jordan, though, gets called for his second. So the Bulls have got some problems in the foul category, Bill. Horace Grant on the bench with 3. Pippen's got 2, and now Jordan with 2 fouls. And Donaldson to the line, the designated villain tonight.
Michael Jordan goes one way, comes back the other, and gets right in the air. Looks easy as can be, but that is extremely difficult to do and maintain your concentration on the basket. The best I played against in the early part of my career were guys like Walter Davis and Randy Smith at that move.
Well, Donaldson's starting to turn the mood of the crowd as he makes it 2 free throws to retie the game. Jordan doesn't keep it tied for long, and Michael's to double figures. He has been above 30 23 times in the first 44 games that Chicago has played. Harper, who's back on for Isolino.
Derek, who started the game red hot, missed a couple here.
Michael Jordan with his 4th rebound of the game. Michael Jordan with a nice pass to Will Perdue. And the Bulls with a flurry have a 4-point lead.
The Bulls can do it all. They've got great transition games. They can play in the set offense. It helps when you have a player like Jordan.
Donaldson from the baseline. Cliff Livingston boxing out. Here's Michael.
Donaldson likes that move. I think he should be able to get into the lane, though.
Jordan finding Will Perdue, but Herb Williams is there for the weak side block shot. Harper down the court. And the Bulls will get it back. B.J. Armstrong.
Got Michael Jordan on the left wing here.
4-3, very short. And Herb Williams has it. Michael on the season now, 17 of 62 on the 3.
He's just going to go right through Michael Jordan. Herb Williams says, yeah, you may be good, but you're not 7 feet tall, and you don't weigh 245 pounds. Jordan, so tough to stop. Donaldson gets turned around in transition. You got to know where your man is. Herb Williams is going to back Michael Jordan in.
Herb with 6 boards already on the night. Mavericks making their free throws. They're 8 out of 9 from the stripe. And a timeout is called by Chicago with 3:45 to go in the half, and the Bulls maintaining a 3-point advantage. The problems continue. This time it's a player trying to throw a reporter out of the locker room after a practice. Cost Chuck Person a few bucks.
Chuck Person having lots of trouble this year. He had the ugly intentional foul incident with the Chicago Bulls. He's been the subject of trade rumors. This is a guy with a tremendous amount of physical talent, Chuck Person, but really hasn't shown any signs of leadership. Indiana Pacers, of course, a team that people thought would compete for this year's Eastern Conference playoff positions. They're 16-28 on the year. Very disappointing. Go to the top and blame Chuck Person.
The Mavericks better continue to get to the line because they have really cooled off from the field. You see the numbers there in this quarter now down to 40% for the game. Herb Williams will try to get Dallas to within 2. He was held to only 8 against the Spurs, but he has been in double figures 20 of the last 23 games.
And here's a press by the Mavericks.
And Pippen is back on despite playing with 2 fouls.
Chicago breaks it beautifully by flashing the guy into the middle.
Pippen rejected by James Donaldson with 11 seconds on the shot clock. Boy, Philadelphia is having a field day against Orlando tonight. I'll get that for you in a minute as we relook at the Donaldson rejection.
Beautiful block. Just try to keep those in bounds, though.
Here's Jordan.
You can get them in fast break with them.
Side isolated to work against Roe Blackman, a defender's nightmare. Now Herb Williams jumps out to double. Armstrong with 1 second on the shot clock. B.J. Armstrong with 6, and the Bulls have a 4-point lead again. At the end of 3 tonight at the Spectrum, Bill, the Sixers beating Orlando 92-55. Ow!
I wonder how Nick, the Big O, Oscar Robertson, Anderson is doing in that ball game.
Oh, Harper with a great drive, missed the layup, though, and Pippen takes the rebound off the floor. Pippen in a hurry, 3-on-2, Purdue finishes, and the Bulls open up their biggest lead of the night now. It's a 6-point game.
Timeout, Richie Adubato. The excellent ball movement of the Chicago Bulls has created numerous wide open scoring opportunities as the Bulls now have a 6-point lead.
Richie Adubato stops play with 2:45 to go, and the Mavericks down by 6. The Phoenix Suns continue to streak 16 consecutive home wins. Jeff Hornacek shooting 93% from the stripe. That's second only to Mark Price. And that bit of information is this evening's KLIF NBA Tidbit. Call in tomorrow morning between 6 and 9 a.m. And if you're the first to identify that bit of information on Talk Radio 570 KLIF, you'll win 4 tickets to an upcoming Mavericks game and a $50 gift certificate to the Mavericks team shop. And Chicago turns it over. The Mavericks turn it over again.
Randy White throwing the ball away. He and Doug Smith have had a number of turnovers tonight, just not smoothing the ball. Chicago's really passing that ball well. Mavericks getting most of their points off the dribble.
Armstrong, boy, he's on fire now. 8 points. You saw the assist picture, meaning Chicago getting a lot better ball movement than is the Mavericks, and all of a sudden the Bulls lead it by 8. Herb Williams throws it away, trying to hit Roe Blackman. Boy, the Mavericks are out of sync now as we wind down the first half. And Chicago looking to stretch it out. Mavericks have only 4 field goals in the period. That's a 6th Dallas turnover to only 3 for the Bulls. Armstrong left alone. Not this time. No, they're going to call offensive goaltending on Cliff Levingston.
Poor decision on defense that time for the Mavericks. B.J. Armstrong has just hit a number of shots right from that same spot. He gets the ball and they back off him.
I don't understand it.
It's a thinking man's game, Alan.
Blackman. Fires 13 for Orlando.
There's a player who's got a lot of good thoughts going on in that brain. Rolando Blackman.
Yeah, he is truly focused tonight. You know he wants to play well against Jordan, who sneaks back door in the second highlight film play of the first half for Michael.
Rolando Blackman just got lost on the back screen by Will Purdue, but James Donaldson also largely responsible for that breakdown in the defense.
By the way, Michael with a quiet 12 in the first half.
How can Michael Jordan ever be quiet?
I want to see if I get a response from you. Donaldson in jail. Finds Blackman.
Oh, nice play, Will Blackman.
Jordan with it, another rebound. His 5th board. He's 6 of 9 from the field. And the long pass to B.J. Armstrong.
Armstrong's anchored in that right corner over there.
Pippen. Nobody within a couple of zip codes of Scottie Pippen. And the lead goes to double figures for the Chicago Bulls.
James Donaldson very reluctant to come out. Against Scottie Pippen, you don't really want to guard him that far out in the perimeter.
Roe Blackman just on fire. That's his second 3. And he's now got 16 and gets Dallas back to within 7. Purdue at the foul line. Boy, Armstrong going to back up to set up for the three. Missed it, but Will Purdue's got the offensive rebound. Oh, Purdue, nice play. He's got 6 off the bench. That'll make Phil Jackson smile. And the lead is up to 9. Mavericks will probably play for the last shot with about a 1-second difference between the game and the shot clock. Harper fouled out front by B.J. Armstrong.
Look at the difference between the Chicago Bulls offense and their point production, where they post up one guy, kick it out, swing it around in the perimeter, wide open shots. Mavericks, on the other hand, they're forced to, as James Donaldson goes to them, they're forced to go one-on-one with their excellent individual offensive players, but very little ball movement, very little involvement of the big men up front.
So Harper continuing to close in on that 500 3-point field goals made mark, but he's not the guy with the long-range shots tonight. It's Roe Blackman. In fact, that's Derek Harper's first point since early in the game, as he's got 7. Paxson is back on for Cliff Levingston. Bench scoring, and you might expect this, Bill, with the Mavericks shorthanded tonight, 20-6 in favor of Chicago, as Tracy Moore, working on his second 10-day contract, is on.
Get all the big guys out of there, put some little guys in there who can run the floor with just 15 seconds left to go in the first half. 3-point shooters everywhere.
Dallas back to within 7. Pippen. Final 10 seconds of the half for Scottie Pippen and the world champion Chicago Bulls. Pippen puts the pass to a wide open Will Purdue. Boy, this is truly a great team that understands the team concept. Harper in time. It got it close.
It's great for Scottie Pippen when you can pick up the ball off the dribble with one hand. Makes the game of basketball a lot easier.
Halftime tonight at Reunion Arena. Michael Jordan has 12 so far. Roe Blackman leads all scorers with 16. And at the intermission, the Bulls have a 9-point lead over the Dallas Mavericks. Chicago Bulls shoot 56% from the field in the first half, and that is the bottom line reason why they have a 9-point lead over the Mavericks at the intermission. Welcome back, everyone, to Reunion Arena tonight on KTVT. I'm Alan Stone. A busy schedule in the NBA, so what else is new? It's a Friday night. Let's go to the Dallas Morning News scoreboard and catch up on what is happening. I don't know where Orlando is playing next, but they might as well go on and go there, because this one is over against Philadelphia. They're getting creamed in the fourth quarter at the Spectrum. New York on their way to their 5th consecutive win, 7 better than the Bullets in the 4th. Seattle has caught Charlotte. That game's still up for grabs at North Carolina. Indiana 5 better than Atlanta. Miami leading Detroit in the 3rd at the Palace. Milwaukee 2 points better than the crippled Celtics. And Minnesota with a surprising, considering they've lost 9 in a row, 6-point lead over San Antonio at the half.
That game is far from over.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When you're 0 for your last 9 and David Robinson's on his home court, it's certainly far from over. Utah hosting Phoenix, New Jersey in Portland. Those games not yet underway. There's the rest of the NBA schedule.
New Jersey coming back to earth after that good run. Now they're out on the West Coast, and things are starting to come apart for them again. They lost in Phoenix. They lost in Sacramento. They'll undoubtedly lose in Portland tonight.
Yeah, those are really litmus tests for teams that are struggling to gain something in this league, to get the long road trips to either end of the country of which they're not familiar, and that always seems to take its toll.
And then Philadelphia, Alan, the owner, Harold Katz, there had a team meeting where he came in and blasted the whole team for playing lackadaisically against inferior opponents to come in. Indiana, a very poor road team this season, poor overall. They went in and spanked the Sixers the other night. Harold Katz called the meeting, and the Sixers have responded tonight, as well as with Jack Ramsey, their broadcaster, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. A lot of excitement in the Spectrum tonight. And
a lot of unrest in Philadelphia, as always. Tough weeks for the Mavericks. You had San Antonio Wednesday. You got the Bulls tonight. It doesn't get much easier tomorrow night. Utah will be here.
Utah, the #1 team in the Midwest Division in the NBA. They're leading the San Antonio Spurs by 2 games. They have had an excellent season. They played a majority of their games on the road. Now they're homestanding a lot. They did get waxed by the New York Knicks, who are playing great basketball right now. Keith Grant, the director of scouting for the Dallas Mavericks, has presented this outstanding scouting report on tomorrow night's opponent here at Reunion Arena, the Utah Jazz.
When you think about the Utah Jazz, you immediately think of Karl Malone and John Stockton, 2 of the better 1-2 tandems in the NBA. Carl can get out and run the floor. He's a major league force in the low post. Very strong inside, hard to defend. We'll have our hands full with him. John Stockton, as I mentioned, one of the premier point guards in the league, among the league leaders in assists every year, and he gets the ball inside very well. Hit the outside jumper if you leave him open, and another player very, very hard to defend. Jeff Malone is becoming very comfortable with the Utah Jazz. He knows their offense very well now. They run a lot of plays for him. He comes off screens extremely well and just can bury the outside jumper. Gives them another offensive threat that makes them extremely difficult.
Jeff Malone, I think, should have been in the All-Star game this year. It was a poor selection, I think, to get Marley in there, who has had a good season, but Phoenix has not lived up to their expectations. Utah has dominated, an injustice to Jeff Malone.
It always happens to the two-guard spot. There's always very well-deserving players who are left off the All-Star team. Let's bump over to the Foot Locker halftime statistics for tonight, and hot shooting by the Bulls from the field is able to offset the fact that Dallas getting to the foul line much more often. Mavericks just about even on boards, but boy, the assist category very much favors Chicago. Scottie Pippen had 8 assists, Michael Jordan 4, and turnovers not that much of a factor, but bench scoring really was, Bill.
Bench scoring killed the Mavericks. They only got 6 points on 0 for 9 field goals. Every point, of course, coming from the line. The Bulls, on the other hand, 22 bench points, 10 for 15 field goals. Jordan and Pippen with 12 apiece. Armstrong and Purdue, Cartwright combined for 8. Blackman with 16. Harper had a good start.
Yeah, Roe Blackman was 7 of 12 in the first half. Michael Jordan 6 of 9. Scottie Pippen 5 of 9. Jordan also had 6 boards, which is high on his team, along with 4 assists. Leading rebounder is Terry Davis with 7. Herb Williams and Randy White each had 6. And the Mavericks learned as the second half wound down that they had lost Doug Smith for the remainder of tonight with a finger injury. So the Mavericks, boy, depleted. They lost Pat Lever for the season earlier this week, lost Roddy McRae for tonight's ball game, and now lose Doug Smith. Not many guys left on the Maverick bench.
James Donaldson will be playing a lot. Tracy Moore probably, and Donald Hodge.
Saw Isolino for a long period in the first half. He got 7 minutes in the second quarter. Shot clock goes under 10 for Terry Davis. Here's Herb Williams over Cartwright. Randy White, who got the start in the second half with Doug Smith unable to go on the putback. His 7th board, his 3rd on the offensive end. His first bucket, he's got 6 points as he was a perfect 4 of 4 from the foul line. Jordan on the wing. Terry Davis lost his shoe. Jordan says, I'll take this opportunity to drill another jumper. Michael hasn't been to the line yet tonight. He usually gets there about 7 times a game.
The Bulls as a team have only shot 5 free throws. Very unusual.
Lob for Randy White. And they're going to rule offensive goaltending on the Mavericks' 3rd-year forward out of Louisiana Tech, and the Bulls will get it back.
On that lob pass by Herb Williams, it's got to be thrown to the top of the corner of the square. Today's players can certainly get that high, but it's got to be wide of the basket. Cartwright wide open underneath.
Terry Davis bumping him. TD gets called for his 2nd foul. No Maverick with more than 2 personal fouls for the Bulls. Forrest Grant limited to 12 minutes in the first half with 3 fouls, but he has started the second half.
Pick and roll.
And Jordan drops it off to Cartwright. Boy, that's sweet. That is a sweet pass. Bill Cartwright gets to double figures. Another assist for Michael.
Everything changes out there when you're great players. You're fine offensive players like Jordan, like Pippen, like Bird, like Magic Johnson. When they start passing the ball around and everybody starts moving more.
Biggest lead of the night for the Bulls, but Forrest Grant just got called for his 4th foul. He says, what a nightmare this is. No wonder I didn't make the All-Star team.
He can't stay in the game. Phil Jackson laughing over there. I'm not sure he's laughing at the fact that Forrest Grant's got the 4 fouls.
Harper missing. Grant pulls down the rebound. Yeah, he averages a double-double for this team, so on a normal night, that's a big loss. Here's Jordan one more time. Nope. Harper splits a defense. Missed the layup. Changed his mind once he got to the basket.
I don't know if you can really call that on a layup.
Yeah. Well,
He slashed through 3 guys, double clutched.
Jordan lost it going to the basket. Now Harper with a breakaway situation has Blackman on the wing. Oh, John Paxson got the block. That's unexpected.
Not enough Mavericks running the floor on the break. The big guys standing back. The 2 guards are left out all by themselves. The Bulls come right back and make them pay the price.
Well, that's Paxson's first 2 of the game. Largest lead for Chicago. Richie Adubato out on the floor to yell at the officials and to stop play. With 9:12 to go in the third, Bulls by 13 points. And that young man, John Stockton, the Utah Jazz, will be in here to Reunion Arena. Get your tickets at the Reunion Arena box office, any Rainbow Ticketmaster outlet. Mavericks will also be home next Thursday night against Clyde Drexler on his way to the All-Star game. And the Portland Trailblazers, Blackman, tough shot, won't go. Cartwright has the rebound. And the Bulls starting to pull away.
Portland, of course, has moved into first place. Overpowering size and strength, starting to take its toll.
Grant. Nope. Randy White above the rim for the rebound. By the way, that block shot a moment ago by John Paxson on the drive by Roe Blackman. That's only the 4th rejection of the season for Paxson.
He's not quite ready to challenge David Robinson as the NBA's leading shot blocker. But on this fast break that the Mavericks failed to convert on, it really leaves the point guards out to dry. Derek Harper that time, the great block by Paxson. But the big guys have got to run the floor. Paxson nails down the jumper. If the big guys don't run the floor, it doesn't create passing opportunities.
The foul a moment ago, the 3rd on Scottie Pippen. Terry Davis gonna muscle him down. And Terry Davis floats it home as he gets to double figures tonight.
Terry Davis trying to develop more of an offensive repertoire down low so he can become an all-around player.
Jordan, a pretty good all-around player, drops it off to Pippen. Scottie's got 14.
I think he's one of the guys you'd pick in a pickup game.
Whereas Jordan and Pippen not only on their way to Orlando next weekend for the All-Star game, they'll be on their way to Barcelona this summer as members of the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team. Mavericks shooting a problem, 8 of 30 since the end of the first quarter. Blackman for 3. He had 2 threes earlier. Jordan cheating back, but Blackman recovers defensively and denies the long outlet.
Excellent hustle back by Rolando Blackman. Oftentimes what a defender will do, like Jordan did in that case. Blackman shot the 3 and then Jordan just released. Blackman had to recover and get back. Fine work by the longtime All-Star Roe Blackman.
Paxson out front. Jordan against Randy White. Shot clock is down to 5 for Michael.
Michael working on his no-look shots.
Got it back. And foul, undercut by Randy White. Well, he said it went once. Why not try it again? That's 3 fouls on Randy. By the way, want to wish a speedy recovery to 7-year-old Curtis Slavik, who is in the hospital recovering from an auto accident he was involved in a couple of weeks ago. We understand he is tuned in, a big Mavericks fan. So Curtis, hang in there. Blackman whips up. Jordan whips the pass to Cartwright. Boy, Jordan's not going to probably have a 40, 50-point scoring game, but he is dominating the game because he can do so many things, Bill.
As the team gets better, the Chicago Bulls, if they get more confidence, Jordan's scoring will go down. Nice turnaround jumper by Herb Williams. But every championship team, their ball movement improves so much, their confidence, and they move so much better. And Jordan has become a much more willing passer as his career has gone on.
He's averaging 6 assists a game. Pippen averaging 7. He's in the top 20 in the league in that category. Neither one of them plays the point guard spot. Harper ahead to Herb Williams. Jordan with the rebound. Comes out running. Pippen on the wing. Jordan doesn't force it. Explodes to the basket, but Herb Williams is there for the block. Michael gets it back, and this time he's fouled.
Herb Williams taking a good hard foul underneath after he blocks the first shot, the quick one. Great play by Jordan to react. And the good foul.
Michael Jordan, a two-time league MVP, exchanging pleasantries with Herb Williams. Led the league in scoring the last 5 seasons. By the way, the record is 7 straight scoring crowns held by Wilt Chamberlain.
Jordan, of course, the center of another controversy this week as he withdrew himself from the NBA merchandising program. Going to become an individual. Sounds a little bit like the Soviet Union breaking up. Maybe we'll have 300 independent players out here.
Everybody will have their own store up on the concourse in the arena. There'll be a Michael Jordan store over here. Scott Williams will have a little store down the corner.
The NBA merchandising program, which has skyrocketed. Over $1 billion in sales recently. Michael Jordan wants more of that for himself. Of course, he's the #1 player.
I was going to say that $1 billion is going to shrink if Michael takes all of his memorabilia and uniforms and stuff like that out of the mix. Herb Williams missing again with Mavericks just not making their shots here. Jordan down the floor.
Jordan having a little fun, looking away. He says, Scotty, you take it.
Cartwright. Terry Davis with yet another rebound. He's got to be nearing double figures. That's his 9th. Harper against Paxson. Oh, another fine defensive play by Johnny Paxson, who ties up Derek Harper.
Paxson wanting to show everyone that he's an all-league defensive player like Scottie Pippen, like Michael Jordan. Does a fine job here on denying Derek Harper a good shot at the basket. Harper brings the ball right into him, and Richie Adubato picks up a technical foul.
Yeah, Richie Adubato out near midcourt, whistled by Tommy Nunez. Richie unhappy that there wasn't a call made on the drive by Harper. I thought that was pretty good defense.
I think that's excellent defense. No foul there. But a coach will often take a technical foul as the team is starting to lose momentum, as the Mavericks certainly have.
Michael, 3 in a row from the line now.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, flash cameras are not allowed in the use.
And now that will go down the floor and jump it. As the Mavericks continue to fall further behind, the league now goes to 16, but Dallas does get the tip. Blackman drops it off to Herb Williams. And Herb gets to double figures on the night with that dunk with the left hand.
That's what happens when guards penetrate and the defense collapses. Setting up the big men for easy points for themselves.
Pippen lost it, but Cartwright in the neighborhood.
Good block out Terry Davis that time, keeping Cartwright from getting a second chance at that shot.
Winding down toward 5 minutes to go in the third. Bulls looking to snap a 2-game losing streak, which immediately came after a 13-game winning streak. Blackman at the air ball from in close. Pippen.
Blackman, who had a huge first half, 16 points, has not had much in the second.
He hasn't scored in the second half. Jordan triple team finds Pippen wide open for 3. Harper.
And again, not enough Mavericks running the floor. Great tip attempt. It worked.
And Terry Davis will be the recipient of free throws as Scottie Pippen's been in with his 4th foul. And Pippen will take himself out of the game.
Foul by Scottie Pippen.
Pippen has 4. Grant has 4. And still the Chicago Bulls coaching staff is smiling.
Yeah. Timeout called by the Bulls with 4:30 to go in the third. Maybe the Bulls coaching staff knows something we don't. Chicago by 14. Donald Hodge is on for the Mavericks, making his first appearance of the evening. Phil Jackson gets a lot of help on the Chicago bench, not the least of which provided by veteran coach Tex Winter.
Tex Winter, one of the best fundamental teachers in basketball, had a tremendous career. Was up for this year's Hall of Fame, didn't quite make it. Spent most of his career in the West Coast, so that East Coast bias in that Hall of Fame really working against him.
Something you pointed out to us already tonight. Davis close to a double-double. That's 12 points and 9 rebounds, but the Mavericks not moving the ball very well. Assists for the game, 23 for Chicago and only 9 for the Mavericks, which have gone 10 of 37 shooting from the field since the first quarter. Jordan working against Terry Davis.
Looks like Terry Davis had tried to foul him there. He was isolated. It's a very tough matchup for any power forward to have to guard Jordan.
And Michael kind of wondering where the whistles went.
Interesting to see that Coach Richie Adubato has gone with Donald Hodge instead of James Donaldson as the backup center in the second half, as Terry Davis loses his left shoe for the second time in the second half.
And Tracy Moore trying to cover Michael Jordan. That's got to be fun for a guy just coming out of the CBA, as Michael gets to 19 with that bucket, and the Bulls have matched their biggest lead of the game, up by 14.
Trapping defense by the Bulls.
Hodge. Stacey King with this rebound.
Donald Hodge not quite warmed up enough to take that kind of shot.
Hodge 11 of 24 in his rookie season. Harper falls down, but the pass is too tall for B.J. Armstrong, who came in during that timeout for John Paxson. Armstrong played 14 minutes in the first half, had 8 points on 4 of 8 shooting.
I had my shoe come off in a game one time, Alan, and I had it in my hand because I couldn't quickly get it back on. My man had the ball. He shot it, so I just took my shoe and threw it right at the ball. And the darn ref called a technical foul on me.
Well, we've got that on video, and we showed that here at Reunion Arena during one of the Maverick games as part of our You Make the Call as to whether or not that was legal to do, and obviously it was not, as you got hit for a tee.
Well, McAdoo kept standing on my shoe all night trying to give me a flat, and it worked. He got open in 2 points and a technical.
Terry Davis bullying his way to the basket, but they'll say he travels. So the Mavericks will get it back. The Bulls will get it back. Up by 14 points. Richie Adubato continuing to work over the officials. He's already been hit with a tee this period.
I don't believe that was traveling, but I think Mike Mathers, instead of calling an offensive foul, which he could have on Terry Davis, he just bowled his way to the hoop.
Harper.
Nice defense for Derek Harper.
Yeah, nearly picked the pocket of B.J. Armstrong, forcing it out of bounds. Now, Ron Harper's Tuesday night with the L.A. Clippers.
It'll be Harper against Harper.
Stacey King comes over to take the inbounds pass from Pippen. Kicks it off to Armstrong. Short, and Hodge has the rebound. Hodge played 8 minutes Wednesday night against the Spurs. Had 4 boards.
Good defense that time by Hodge, and then smoothly turned and snaked in the rebound.
Blackman working against Pippen here. Pippen reaches in, strips roll Blackman. Here goes Michael. That's what they came to see. Mavericks trailing by 16. Richie Adubato wants to stop play again. And the officials are going to allow the timeout as Scottie Pippen trying to wrap up Derek. 2:33 to go in the third quarter. Michael Jordan's dunk in transition has given the Bulls a 16-point spread.
Rolando Blackman trying to make it happen by himself. Forced left, he just loses the ball, and Jordan will finish. No one does it better, as Michael Jordan is working himself toward a triple-double. He'll take a rest. 9 rebounds, 8 assists, almost there. I'm sure he'll be back for more, as I'm sure the fans want to see a lot more of his action here at Reunion. Excellent block by Cartwright and King that time.
Yeah, Bobby Hansen's on for Michael. And the Bulls will get it back up by 16 points and pulling away in this third quarter. Michael doesn't get many triple-doubles. In fact, the Bulls media guy doesn't even list how many he has in his career. Bulls play in Los Angeles Sunday afternoon, a nationally televised game against the Lakers. A tough road trip. Then they go down to Utah Monday and to Phoenix on Tuesday. Players all over the floor. And finally, Donald Hodge comes up with it to Derek Harper. Here's Tracy Moore. Lines it up, knocks it down. Moore had 11 points in Wednesday night's game, including 2 3-pointers in 17 minutes. It's on the board tonight.
Nice spacing by the Mavericks on the full court. Fast break that time. It's amazing what happens when everybody's running down there and opens up the lane.
Mavericks with that basket, only 5 of 17 in the third. Pippen missing. Ball on the floor, kicked around. Blackman's got it. Feeds Tracy Moore. Yeah.
Now the Mavericks have too many guys running the court. The fast break worked.
Well, Jackson wants to use a 22nd timeout as Dallas has gotten back to within a dozen with 69 seconds to go in the third quarter.
This is what drives coaches crazy of great teams like the Chicago Bulls. They've been playing well. Jordan comes out, takes a rest. And the second unit comes out and just falls apart, makes Jordan come in. Tracy Moore knocks down the nice spot-up jumper after the beautiful setup by Derek Harper. And then comes right back with the step-under drive. Tracy Moore looking very good in this ball game tonight. Looks like the type of guy who will be around for a while.
Well, Moore signed by the Mavericks until the All-Star break, and then Dallas will either have to release him or sign him for the season. Obviously, they're leaning towards signing him for the season with Pat Lever gone for the rest of the year, and Brad Davis's return nowhere in sight. Talked to Brad in the locker room prior to the start of the game. He says he still can't even sit up straight for more than about 10 minutes at a time. B.J. Armstrong misses, but Stacey King keeps it alive, floats it back home. He's got 6. Bulls with a 1 rebound advantage at 36-35. Terry Davis working a nice pick and roll with Roll Blackman. 6 of Terry's 14 have come here in the third period.
Terry Davis starting to develop into a world-class player here, getting a lot of offensive opportunities tonight. Herb Williams, not much playing time. Of course, Donaldson been on the bench most of the game.
King throws up an air ball. Blackman ahead to Tracy Moore, finds Hodge. So some of the guys at the end of the bench for the Mavericks making some noise. And Dallas is within 10. The Bulls looking to play for the last shot of the third with about a 2-second difference between the game and the shot clock. Pippen. Armstrong dribbling around. Shot clock hits 5 for Bill Cartwright. Hand back to Pippen. Got to the baseline. Cartwright from behind.
Oh, that's a big play, I believe.
The Mavericks cut into that Chicago lead a little bit. And going to the fourth quarter tonight on KTVT, Mavericks are within 10 of the world champion Bulls. As is Will Perdue, coming back for the first time this half after logging 6 minutes off the bench in the second quarter. Mavericks with a nice scoring run to close that period and get back to within 10. Terry Davis looking to drive Scott Williams, who's back on, and Terry Davis will shoot free throws. And the Mavericks coming back with a chance to get the lead down to single digits, and Terry Davis going to the line for the third time with 14 points. That's only 2 behind Roll Blackman for team high honors tonight. Bill, I looked down at the Bulls' mark. They've lost their last 2 on the road, and yet still have easily the best road mark in the league at 16-5. That's not fair.
That means before this week they were 16-3 on the road.
A lot of teams can't do that well at home.
Most teams.
As we remind you that Mavericks forward Randy White will be at the TGI Fridays on Skillman Monday, February 17th, 7 to 9 in the evening. Radio station KZPS will also be there with their Wheel of Fortune, giving away valuable prizes and tickets to upcoming Maverick games. So Dallas within 8 and full court pressure after the made free throws.
I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Randy White in the action much in the second half.
I don't understand these things.
He had some good moments in the first.
Especially with Doug Smith unavailable, having hurt an index finger. Late in the second half, Michael Jordan drives and is fouled by Terry Davis. That's his third.
One thing the Mavericks have really struggled with tonight defensively is when they have tried to double team, particularly Jordan and Pippen, as Terry Davis picks up his foul. They've let the player, Jordan and Pippen, get to the outside of the double team. Make them split it. Maybe you'll pick up a deep thigh bruise or something.
Michael, 3 of 4 from the line after that miss. And Craig Hodges is going to enter the game for the first time tonight in for Bobby Hansen. Michael, the former Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time league MVP, MVP of the playoffs last season.
He's done just about everything, and he'll continue to do a lot more. Craig Hodges just in the ball game. Excellent long-range shooter for the Bulls. 2-time defending three-point shooting champion in the NBA.
Going to try it again next weekend in Orlando. Derek Harper with the basket. That's his first hoop since the first period. Derek's got 10, and Dallas as close as they have been in a while, trailing by only 7.
Mavericks not a team as Craig Hodges fires
for 3.
It up.
There we go. That's what they put him in there for, and bombs away. That's his ninth 3 of the season.
Bill Jackson has so many different options on that bench. Derek Harper, difficult shot, but he made the previous one. He says, hey, I got to find out if I'm really hot.
I can tell him he's 4-13.
Orlando Bachman trying to dig in here on Michael Jordan.
Scott Williams with the ball. Travel. No, offensive foul.
Scott Williams.
Jordan trying to give Williams some advice like, hey, give it back to me. I'm wide open.
I also am good.
Most players think they're always open. I knew I did.
Excuse me.
Randy White getting ready to check in. Again, no signs of James Donaldson as the game winds down here.
Tracy Moore way up top. Nope. Scott Williams had it. Loose ball foul on Donald Hyde. Second team foul against the Mavericks in the quarter. Randy White will check in with 6 points as he relieves Roe Blackman. Herb Williams is back in the game too as Hyde sits down.
Randy White isolated one-on-one against Michael Jordan. Chicago should just spread the floor here. But I guess you can say that about anybody who guards Jordan.
It's tough. Not a day at the park. Jordan out front, going into his act.
Great
nice pass to Purdue.
3 seconds.
3-second call on Will Purdue. And Michael unhappy that Purdue called for the turnover. Dallas gets it back, still down by 10. You know Chicago would love to get a big enough lead to sit down its main players. Another big game coming in about 36 hours in L.A. against the Lakers. But the Mavericks hanging in.
Every game the Bulls play as the defending champions with the best player, Michael Jordan, is a big game. It's the Super Bowl as Randy White takes steps.
Yep, Randy traveling with the ball out front.
Every team wants to make their season by beating the Bulls. Bulls with only 7 losses.
Well, not many teams have their seasons made yet.
No.
Milwaukee's got 2 of those victories over the Bulls. 2 of the 7 Chicago losses. Jordan driving Herb Williams, lost it, got it back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A little bit of luck involved, and that Jordan was stripped. The ball rebounded off a Maverick, came right back to Michael, and then it is pure Jordan after that.
He just jumps in the air. He gets hammered on the head by Randy White. Maybe that's why he shaved his head.
That's 3 highlight film plays Michael's made tonight. That's giving the folks their money's worth.
He usually does.
25 points on the night for Michael, still 5 off his average, but he's getting there.
The Mavericks, who had cut the lead to 7 points, have dropped now down by 13.
Terry Davis doubled. Gives it back to Tracy Moore. Mavericks will reset.
Post up Herb Williams.
Harper open for 3. No, they'll say it's a 2. Okay, Derek Harper gets up to a dozen. The Mavericks are hanging in within 11 here.
Derek Harper, who struggled tonight with the shooting after a brilliant start, sets himself up by feeding Herb Williams.
The one-man team. Michael just going to the hoop. Fouled by Tracy Moore.
The game looks fun to Michael Jordan. He's got a little smile on his face right now.
Well, like I say, his day was made when he shot that 76. You know what Michael's passion is? It's the golf.
His passion is basketball. His day will be made when they win this ball game and get on their charter flight to L.A. Craig Hodges looking good out there.
Randy White ahead of the pack. Jordan called for the foul, and he's hot.
I don't think Randy White expected this. He thought he was clear for the breakaway. Did not take it strong to the hoop. Jordan will come from behind and take a wild swing. That's a great block, I think.
Yeah, that is a great block.
If he hadn't swung at it so much as he flew through the air, Michael Cooper really invented that type of block to get right in perfect step behind the offensive player and get in the air.
Randy White makes the free throw as they're continuing to show the play up on the replay screen. The crowd's starting to agree that Michael made a pretty nice play on that one. And now, finally, Michael can smile about it. He is one competitive guy. Anybody as great as he is a true competitor all the time. And he thought he made a good play, and he wanted it. Well, that was nearly the three-point play the hard way. Jordan. Great Purdue, yeah. Well, that's outstanding teamwork again. Will Purdue gets the double figures.
And everybody giving each other high fives for the Chicago Bulls.
That's a fourth foul on Terry Davis, and it puts the Bulls in the penalty with 8-11, and Chicago up by a dozen.
Set up by Michael Jordan, catching the ball in midair, turning and firing it across the court. Such power, such balance, court vision. Jordan attempting a play that
worked last night in Houston, where he comes flying in on a free throw, and if it's missed, he tries to take it while it's coming off the rim and dunk it back in.
You've got to match up with him on free throws, even when he's out on the floor. He'll come flying down the lane.
And by the way, that was a wise time for Michael to do that, because Will Purdue is only a 50% free throw shooter. Oh, nice offensive board by Tracy Moore, rejected by Purdue. Hodges to Grant. Challenged and put down by Randy White, and Horace Grant's hurt. Randy White gets called for his fourth foul.
That's why when you go to the basket, you want to hang on that rim a little bit if you can.
Chicago's going to have to call a timeout. Grant went down hard, landed on his tailbone.
Good foul. He couldn't quite get all the way to the rim, landed right on that tailbone.
Ow. 7:44 to go in the game. Play is stopped with Chicago leading the Dallas Mavericks by a dozen.
Fortunately, Horace Grant up and being able to walk it off. I don't know if he'll be able to continue to shoot the free throws. If he cannot, he won't be able to return it all to action tonight. But more importantly for the Chicago Bulls, this is the type of play here that will ruin a team's chances as he smashes to the floor. Hopefully it's just a bruise, and he will be able to return soon to action.
Boy, when you land on your tailbone many times, your extremities go numb, and that is enough to scare you to death right there. Just the impact of it. You hit all those nerves that are located in the lower part of the back.
Phil Jackson, the Bulls' great coach, knows all about back injuries. He had his back fused.
I want to remind the first 2,000 kids under the age of 16 who enter Reunion Arena tomorrow night when the Mavericks host the Utah Jazz will receive a coupon for a blue and green basketball. Compliments of Minyard's food stores. Well, when we return to action, the Bulls will be going to the stripe, which hasn't happened all that often tonight. Leading by a dozen is Chicago right now. Michael Jordan's got 25 points, and Horace Grant is going to be able to attempt the free throws with a nice show of sportsmanship by the sellout crowd here in Dallas.
They might just let Horace Grant out of Clemson University in the '87 draft. They might let him shoot the free throws and then quickly foul the Mavericks to stop the action so they can substitute him out of there. Anytime you have a serious injury, I think it's good to get the player out of there, check him out, make sure he's okay.
You bet.
I know I broke my back in college in a play somewhat similar to that. Took a very serious fall. I did shoot the free throws, but then when I tried to run back on defense, I just could not make it. Looked pretty smooth that time, though.
Yeah, he did. Horace Grant's been a steady player for the Bulls this year. In the first 44 games, he's got double-doubles in 24 of them, including 18 rebounds on 2 different occasions this season. Shackled by foul trouble tonight, the numbers are down. On the season, Horace averaging 15 points and 10 rebounds. The 10th pick in the '87 draft. Of course, you got a twin brother, Harvey Grant, who plays forward for the Washington Bullets.
He's been the Bulls' leading rebounder the last 3 seasons. He's extremely important to them if they're going to expect to repeat as NBA champion.
Harper. Will Purdue with the rebound. Boy, Derek missing a lot of shots here. Try to fire the Mavericks back into it. Jordan holding the ball up over Tracy Moore. Now Herb Williams comes over to double. Horace Grant to B.J. Armstrong. Dallas will get it back. 7 minutes to go, down by 14.
Great unselfish ball movement by the Chicago Bulls. Horace Grant had an easy 6-footer in the lane himself. Hit the spotted up. Oh, great backdoor pass.
But Chicago recovered defensively, and that guy Michael Jordan was there to knock it away, intended for Randy White. Roe Blackman is back on. He continues to lead Dallas in scoring with 16. Actually, he's been matched now by Terry Davis, who leaves the game. Scottie Pippen is back on for the Bulls.
Not only is Jordan a tremendous individual defensive player, he's equally as good as a team defender. Stealing the ball from the weak side, coming to block shots like other opponents besides his own man.
Herb Williams with a nice move, and Herb's got a dozen, and Dallas is back to within 12.
Good running the baseline there by Will Perdue, something the young Maverick forward should learn how to do. Jordan walked over to Richie Adubato and says, "Hey, watch this, coach."
Richie says, "I've already seen enough. Thank you." Pippen out front against Randy White. Shot clock is down to 4 for Jordan.
Does the 360. Tired of making the easy ones.
Well, the Mavericks still only down by 12. Randy White with a second straight double-figure rebounding game. Will Perdue with this board after a Roe Blackman miss. Jordan up the floor, stripped. Oh, saved it in the corner. Had the presence of mind to get it into Perdue. Fields feeds B.J. Armstrong.
The Dallas offense is just feeding the Chicago Bulls fast break offense. Oh, Herb Williams says there's a ambulatory furniture warehouse.
Jordan with the touch pass back to Armstrong. Lob ahead to Pippen. Lead goes to 60. This match is the biggest of the night for Chicago. Timeout Dallas, 22nd timeout, so we'll keep it here with 5:27 to go, and the Bulls up big now by 16 points as Scottie Pippen gets behind the Maverick defense here for his 16th point of the game. Kaboom!
Scottie Pippen finishing the play. Tremendous player, Scottie Pippen, but don't you people think out there who are watching this game as we go to the scoreboard, we'll get back to Scottie Pippen in a minute. Detroit over Miami. Boston struggling on the road.
Within 5 of the Milwaukee Bucks in the fourth quarter. We'll have all the scores for you.
The point I wanted to make about Scottie Pippen is that this was not a player that was a star right from the beginning. He was traded during the draft for the rights to Olden Polonies. Now, you'd never in your right mind make that trade today. But judging talent is a real skill in the NBA, and Pippen has worked tremendously hard. And playing with Michael Jordan, he's learned how to play basketball.
Harper's out. Isolino is on. Mavericks have got 3 guards in there now. Boy, Jordan got above the rim, realized he was going to be guilty of goaltending, took it back, and the Mavericks will retain possession.
He doesn't have to worry about getting above the rim. He has to worry about hitting the rim with his head.
You know, Scottie Pippen has done something all the great ones do. He has gotten better every year, has raised his scoring average every season he's been in the league. Isolino.
Isolino passing up shots, putting a lot of pressure. Oh, what a shot.
Yeah, Roe Blackman after freeing himself from Michael Jordan. First points of the second half for Orlando, who's got 18.
A little bit of trash talking by Blackman coming right back at Jordan. Jordan says, "Yeah, Roe, but look at the score." And look at this championship ring.
By the way, the good news for the Mavericks, x-rays of Doug Smith's injured finger were negative, so he is being listed as questionable for tomorrow, not definitely out of the game. White all over Pippen. They beat the shot clock. Scottie Pippen strokes it home. Mavericks good defense. Doesn't help as Pippen makes the big play. Blackman. Jordan's got the board.
Dallas guards continue to just fire up.
Yep. That's the largest lead of the game now for Chicago as they've stretched it out to an 18-point advantage. We talked about Dallas needing to score points to stay in this game. They're not doing it. They're under 80 with 4:07 to go. And
if it only was as easy as it looks to him, we'd all be doing a lot better.
Yeah, one thing's maybe he sees a different game than the rest of us do. Let's catch up on other NBA activity. Our final look at the Dallas Morning News NBA scoreboard tonight. And Philadelphia winning big at home tonight over Orlando, 112-88. Knicks let Washington get back into it, then finished off the Bullets in OT. Seattle got 30 points from Eddie Johnson, and they win in North Carolina tonight over the Hornets. Elsewhere, as they say, Indiana beats Atlanta in overtime. Detroit comes back to beat Miami. And Milwaukee holds on against the Celtics still without Bird or McHale in that game.
And no word on when either of those two longtime All-Stars will return.
Minnesota hanging in. They've still got a 2-point lead in San Antonio in the fourth quarter. You know the Spur fans are saying, wait a minute, the last time we were here, they beat the Bulls, and now they're struggling to handle Minnesota. Utah, which will be here tomorrow night, is down by 6 at home. Jazz have lost only twice in the new Delta Center all season. New Jersey staying with Portland through 1. We'll be back for a final word as you see the other games on the schedule after we take one more break.
If you're looking for the greatest selection of your favorite cookies and crackers, look no further than your neighborhood Jewel Osco store. They have a wider variety of all your family's favorite Nabisco products, Oreos to premium saltines, Chips Ahoy cookies to Nilla wafers. And whether your family prefers better cheddars or Triscuits, Jewel Osco has them at a price your family can afford. So no matter what kind of Nabisco cookie or cracker you're in the mood for, you'll find a greater selection at Jewel Osco, the store that gives you greater savings than ever before.
The quality behind the Acme brick name starts here. Earth clays are blended and conveyed to a processing machine where the brick are shaped and holes are formed. Then cut, placed on kill cars, and inspected to make sure they're worthy of the Acme name. Hard firing at 2,000 degrees assures strength and color permanence. From here to your home, if you don't see the Acme name, you're not getting Acme quality. Acme brick, the best thing to have around your house.
When you play the game and you're looking good, that's the Bud Light way. Yeah, it's understood.
If you're into looking good, get into Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up, never let you down.
You can taste it, feel it, know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a light. Everything else is just a light. Everything else is just a light. Everything else.
Bulls sweep the season series, beating the Mavericks here by 15 after prevailing by 16 at the Chicago Stadium. The first week of the season. I want to remind everyone that News Watch 11 will follow in its entirety immediately, and that's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. As Bill Walton and myself are going to wrap things up right here. Mavericks will stay home and play the Utah Jazz tomorrow night here at Reunion Arena. Once again, good tickets still remain for that game. A good chance to see the Mavericks and one of the best teams in the Western Conference tomorrow night. One of Dallas's best games here this season was against the Jazz early in November. Dallas won by 12.
And the Utah Jazz playing at home tonight up against Phoenix. That game looks like, with Phoenix a good lead there early in the second half, will go down to the wire, which will put more pressure on Utah, a team that relies primarily on three people, the two Malone brothers, Carl and Jeff, and then Jeff Stockton, the great point guard who will be in the All-Star game as well as the Olympic team. The Utah team can be had. They have played good basketball this year. They just had the 80 points at home against the Knicks the other night. The Knicks have really surged under Pat Riley. They've just really responded to his tough, demanding coaching style, and they're playing their best basketball in years, probably since they won the championship in the early 70s. But this Utah Jazz team that's coming in tomorrow night, they're a team that can pose problems to the Dallas Mavericks. Karl Malone will be, of course, very difficult to stop. That job will fall on Terry Davis's shoulder. Also, Doug Smith and Randy White. Hopefully, Doug Smith will be able to play. Yeah, let's hope so. He is listed at this point as questionable for tomorrow night. I want to remind everyone our next telecast here on KTVT will be next Tuesday evening, 9:30 start from the West Coast at the LA Sports Arena. The Mavericks going against Ron Harper and the Los Angeles Clippers. Right here, I'm Alan Stone for Bill Walton saying goodnight from Reunion Arena, where the world champion Chicago Bulls have prevailed over the Dallas Mavericks by a final score of 107-92.